writing to the Electoral Commission to enable the Commission examine the matter and determine the appropriate course of action as required of us by the law. The Commission would like to appreciate the political parties, organizations, and independent aspirants or candidates who have adhered to this procedure and assures them that their complaints will be handled in accordance with the electoral laws as fast as possible. Furthermore, as the nomination exercise progresses, the Commission wishes to emphasize the following. 1. All persons aspiring to contest in these elections are urged to familiarize themselves with the requirements for nomination for each elective position as outlined in the law and the guidelines issued by the Commission, which are available on www.ec.or.ug, and also the manual or physical copies at our offices in each district or city. We are made to understand some aspirants have failed in their nomination bid because of non-compliance with the requirements for nomination for the respective elective or position. Secondly, we also wish to advise aspirants for local government council elections to pay the respective non-refundable fee in cash or bank draft payable to the relevant local government council and obtain general receipts before the nomination day. Some of them want to pay at the nomination venue or center. Our officers are not supposed to pick or collect nomination fees. Thirdly, symbols will be allocated on first come, first served basis. The Commission shall not reserve symbols for independent candidates prior to nomination. Where an elective position is contested, the Commission has been allocating symbols and will continue to do so as approved by the Commission after nomination, basing on the sponsoring political party or organization or independent candidate, or in any other case as it may consider appropriate. If a candidate is a party flag bearer, automatically the symbol for that candidate is the party symbol. But if the candidate is independent, then he or she will select from among the 20 symbols which we have approved and gazetted, and that symbol will be for that candidate, for that elective position. But independent candidates that they have selected and been allocated a symbol of their choice before leaving the nomination, which shall be done by the candidate signing against the elected or selected symbol on the nomination control form. The other point to note is that the Commission wishes to guide draw of a duly nominated candidate the withdrawal of a duly nominated candidate can only be effected by means of a written notification to the Commission signed by the candidate and witnessed by 2 registered voters of that electoral area. But where the candidate has been sponsored by the political party, the notification for withdrawal by the candidate shall be signed by the Secretary General of the party or a person so authorized by the party. Point to observe or to note is that where no candidate has been nominated, the returning officer is required to report to the Commission, which shall appoint a fresh nomination date for the affected electoral area. The final point we want to point out or to draw the attention of people to, that a person who uses convoy of vehicles for the purpose of his or her nomination shall have no more than 2 vehicles in the convoy, and each vehicle shall bear police stickers and shall not carry more than 10 persons. This is in the law. It's the law which provides that a candidate or an aspirant approaching or going for nominations should not get to the venue with more than 2 vehicles, and each more than 10 occupants. So it is in the law. The Commission has also set up a complaint or query desk at the Electoral Commission headquarters here to support the exercise of nomination of candidates for the general elections. This complaints desk will provide any required information to members of the public as well as election officials to facilitate the smooth process of verification of aspirants or supporters on the National Voters Register. The desk will provide guidance on any legal issues and respond to general inquiries and questions during the nomination exercise. This desk has to enable members of the public raise any related or concerning the nomination exercise for expeditious handling by the Commission. I can maybe cite or then recite the numbers. 0800 300121. This is a toll-free number and can be called by all networks, Airtel, MTN, UTL, etc. At no cost to the caller. The number is 8003001. This is also a toll-free number which can be called by all networks at no cost. Now, number. The other number is not toll free, 0393 280 498. The fourth number, which is also not toll free, is 0392 004158. The last number is 0393 280 488. So please let members of the public utilize these numbers in case they have any question or query or complaint regarding the nomination process. All stakeholders who are involved in this nomination process are urged to make use of this toll-free facility during the nomination period from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. As mentioned earlier, the nomination for presidential candidates will take place on 23rd and 24th September. And I've also mentioned the venue. I just want to remind Ugandans, those who are to be on the ballot paper for presidential candidates, for presidential elections, you should be a citizen of Uganda by birth, a registered voter, and of 18 years and above. That's all. A candidate shall 5 years of educational qualifications confirming that he or she obtained a minimum formal of advanced level or its equivalent. However, an aspiring candidate whose academic qualifications are equivalent to A level and an aspiring candidate whose academic qualifications were obtained outside Uganda shall have to establish his or her qualifications by producing a certificate issued to him or her by the National Council for Higher Education in consultation with Uganda National Examinations Board, or UNEB, as required by the law. Such certificate should have been submitted to the Electoral Commission by now, because according to the law, you should submit such certificate 2 months prior to nomination. And since nominations for presidential elections are taking place on 23rd, means all those whose academic qualifications are equivalent to A level or who require certificate from National Council for Education should have done that long ago. We also want to remind presidential aspirants that your nomination shall be supported by not less than 100 persons who are registered voters from not less than 8 districts, which is of all the districts of Uganda. Each district 100 supporters from 98 districts. Now, due to the sizable number of signatures or supporters required as a presidential candidate, the Commission wishes to remind all aspirants, that is presidential, to submit the lists of supporters to the Commission for verification at least 2 weeks before nomination day. That is, at least by 10th September, which is tomorrow. The advance submission will enable the Commission to verify the submitted lists of names, thereby allowing aspirants to proceed with fulfilling other requirements, such as paying the non-refundable nomination fees and booking an appointment on any of the gazetted dates well in advance to ensure a smooth nomination process. As I conclude, of the roadmap general elections has reached a critical stage. The current phase involves nomination of candidates, which will be followed by the campaign period or periods, and subsequently polling or voting day for presidential, parliamentary, and local government council positions, including the city or district, municipality or city division, and sub-county, town, and municipal division levels, as well as special interest groups representatives. These activities will be conducted in accordance with Article 61, Clause 2 of the Constitution on the various dates to be appointed within the period from 12th January to 9th February 2026. The Commission urges all aspirants, their supporters, and other stakeholders, and all Ugandans to observe, even non-Ugandans who are living here, to observe and maintain peace during the conduct of the nomination exercise and the subsequent electoral activities. We should not allow elections to disrupt the prevailing peace and stability in our country, which are critical for the socio-economic transformation activities the people of Uganda are involved in. I thank you for listening to me. I say this for God and my country. Tuli wano olwaleero twayisaba amawulire olukungaana luno, twagala kubeebaza mwenna bazze nga tulina okubatangaaza oba okutangaaza eggwanga kiki ekigenda mu maaso mu nteekateeka y'okulonda kwa bonna ku mwaka 2026 nga bwe tuzze tulambika oba tutegeeza eggwanga nti twateekawo ennaku okutandika ng'ennaku 3 mwezi gw'omwenda mpaka ennaku 24 mwezi gwe gumu, nti ke kaseera kaabo bonna abaagala kwesimbawo oba bagenda kwesimbawo mu bifo bya government z'ebitundu okusunsulwa oba kubeera nominated mibifo nga bwe twategeeze gwanga. Kaweefube ono yatandikanga ennaku 3 omwezi guno wiiki ewedde nga tukola nominations oba kusunsulwa kwa abagenda kwesimbawo ku bifo byaba chairperson obukulembeze bwa district, cities, ba road mayor, ba councillor nabagenda kwesimbawo mu bifo bya special interest groups. Ekibinja kino okusunsulwa kwabwe kwamalizibwa ngwe ennaku 5 omwezi guno olwali lwa 5. Wetwogerera kati okutandika n'olunaku lwajjo twatandisewo okusunsulwa ate ekibinja ky'okubiri kyaba bagenda kwesimbawo mu bifo bya municipalities oba city divisions nga ba chairpersons oba naba councillor naba special interest groups. Okusunsulwamu kuno okwewandiisa kuno kugenda kukomekerezebwa ennaku 10 ndowooza lujja kuba lwakuna olunaku lw'enkya betugenda okumaliriza. Then ekibinja ekyokusatu beba division chairpersons naba councillor ng'ogaseeko naba special groups. Abo kusunsulamu kwabwe kugenda okutandika ng'ennaku 11 paka ennaku 24 omwezi guno. Ekibinja kisembayo mu bifo bino bya government z'ebitundu bagenda kwesimbawo ku magombolola bane mu town councils nga ba chairpersons, ba councillors, gatako na ba special interest groups. Kaweefube ono okwewandisa najja kubeera mu nnaku zezimu okutandika olunaku 11 mpaka ennaku 24 omwezi guno. Bwe tunaamaliriza ekyo tugenda kubeera no ennaku 23 n'ennaku 24 abo bonna bagenda kwesimba ku bwa president bajja kuba basunsulwamu oba beewandiisa nga ekifo location oba nomination venue tujja kubeera Elubowa, Kigo, Lweza Road, Makinde, Sabagabo Municipal Council mu district wa Kiso. Ekifo ekyo wetugenda okuzimba headquarter electoral commission yadde teweri bizimbe kwetwogerera kati naye aba National Housing Construction Company bakiyonja bakiteekateeka bulungi okulaba nti kijja kubeera ku mutindo gwetaagisa okusobola okukola nominations wa presidential candidates. Era kiseera bwe kinaatuuka tugenda kuyita bamawulire wanga mukolagana wamu naffe mutuyamba nnyo tubalage tubalambuze kifo ekyo headquarter ya kakiiko k'ebyokulonda wegenda okubeera naye tusazeewo omukolo guno omukulu nnyo mu ggwanga katuguteeke mu kifo ekyo nga tusunsulamu abagenda kwesimba ku bwa president. Era nga bwe mumanyi abo n'abagala kwesimba ku bwa president kasita obeera muna Uganda olina emyaka yo 18 n'okwengayo waggulu olina byobuyigirize senior y'omukaaga oba n'okusukako awo oli waddembe kuwewaayo. Mujukire nti wetwogera kataba kajjayo empapula kwenda kwesimba ndowooza bakawera meka 220 ndowooza no bamawulire we bali temulimu temwagala kubeera ba president. So naye kakate kiddako nti abo bonna abajja empapula oba bafunye emikono egiwera abawagizi abeetaagibwa kuva mu district 98 batandise bangambye jo waliwo bakomezaawo empapula waliwo ndowooza bakomezaawo empapula nga zina amanya n'emikono gy'abawagizi kuva mu kati naffe ogwaffe okwekenenya empapula zino tubere ddala nti kituufu wafunye emikono oba abantu abawagizi 10 mu buli district 98 oba nedda. Era ekirala twagala okutegeeza abannayuganda nti twafunyeewo nti tukubiriza abo bonna bagenda kwesimbawo oba kusunsulwa okubegetinga nominated mugondere amateeka n'endagiriro commission gyebaweereza kituyita guidelines emirimu gisobole kutambula bulungi naawe ebintu bisobole kutambulira bulungi ate mujukire nti okulonda kuno programu zonna ezikwata ku kulonda zisinziira ku ssemateeka nga Kawiro 61 Kanyiriro 2 ke kateekako ddi ebiseera bitulina okuteekaako kulonda kuno ate ne bifo ebyetaaga abakulembeze abalonde naye tukizudde oba tufunya mawulire nti abamu abeewadde mu kwesimbawo mu programu eyo yasoose wiiki ewedde nti balaze okwemulugunya naye ate we balegere kwemulugunya bagenda mu mawulire kutujja amawulire bakola enkunganda z'amawulire ne bagamba nti simanya kakiiko kakoze biki simanyi kwewandisa batulemeseza eyo si enkola entuufu amateeka gagamba bw'oba olina kwemulugunya kwonna okukwata ku programu yonna oba process yonna y'okulonda weekubira enduulu eri akakiiko k'ebyokulonda ng'otuwandiikira ng'olambika kiki ekikuluma kiki ekyakulemeseza kuwewandiisa naffe tujja kuyita tutunule ku nsonga ye tusalemu bwe tunaakizuula nti ddala abaku ofiisa yaffe yakugaana okwewandiisa okubeera nominated mu ngeri etagondera amateeka gatuwa obuyinza ogamba nti nawe ogenda oyingira olwokano nawe tukubiriza nti mutuwandikire mwenna abalina ensonga ekirala tubasaba bannange mutegeere biki bibeetaagisa okutuukiriza tomalaga kwate ku n'ogenda ku kifo ky'okusunsulwamu nawe nange nzize tomanyi ni kiki kyetaagisa tosasudde sente ziri zibakugamba emikono gy'abawagizi togifunye mugondera amateeka musome amateeka oyagala kubeera mukulembeze n'obeera tomukulembeze nga tumanyi mateeka nekyokubiri twalambika twaweereza guidelines nga tugamba nti oyagala kwesimba ku kifo kino goberera bino era tusigamba nti esente abakozi baffe kifo ky'okusunsu nomination center sibo bakwata sente nomination fees gende oluzitwale mu local government oba kusasule mu kashi bakuwe receipt oba bank draft still bakuwe receipt yoino kuleeta wa returning officer ogambe nti nyasasudde omutemwa ogunyetaagisa mu kwesimbawo abo bonna beesimbyewo buli omu alina kubeera na kabonero obanga okuta ebendera y'ekibiina ky'obufuzi akabonero ko akanaabeera ku kifaananyi kikyo ku ballot paper ky'ekibiina bw'obeera weesimbye bwana munigina tulina obubonero 20 bwe twayisa tubuteeka no mu gazeeti nga kakiiko k'ebyokulonda olonda mu kamu noga nti nze nja kweyambisa akabonero kano oba saawa oba ntebe oba amenza oba kiki bwonna buli awo twabuteeka mu gazeeti buli kifo wali nomination list eyo weri y'obubonero bwonna bw'obanga oyagala kuva mu lwokano ng'oweesimbyewo bakunominatinze naye n'ogamba nti ze mbivuddemu amateeka gamba wandikira kakiiko k'ebyokulonda osayininga ebbaluwa eyo n'abawagizi babiri abalonde aba voters bawagire withdraw y'okuva mu gundi mu otuwani naye bw'obeera nga olina ebendera y'ekibiina ky'obufuzi amateeka gagamba nti ebbaluwa yo y'okuva mu kalulu erina okubeerako n'omukono gwa secretary general w'ekibiina kubanga jjukira wakwata ebendera yaabwe kati bw'ovaamu oba bafiiriza kubanga tetubawo mwaganya ate okuddamu okukola ki okujjuza ekifo ekyo twataddewo complaints desk oba amasimu abantu balina okwemulugunya ku engeri kusunsulwamu oba nomination bwebitambula batutegeeze tusobole ekizibu ekiriwo kifunira eddagala mangu omulimu gutambule bulungi. Enamba njagala zisoma ze zino, bw'ogikuba tosasula sente yonna. 0800300M2M. Eyokubiri zino okozesa mukutu gwonna Airtel, MTN, UTL n'okuba enamba eyo nga tosasudde wadde 10. Enamba yokubiri 0800300M22 naye toll free. Zine ziddako zino olina kusasulayo ku busiibo, olina kubeera na airtime nga tonagikuba. 0393 280 eyokubiri 0392 00M58. Yokusatu 0393 280 nezi nesatu olina kubeera na airtime. Ng'amaliriza kawefube wokulonda oba plan program eyokulonda okwa 2025 kuli wala nnyo kati we tuyimiridde kati tuli mu kusunsulamu baka abagenda so tubadde tugamba nti tutuuse wala nnyo. We have gone very far mu nteekateeka y'okulonda kwa 2025. Twogera katuuza emyezi ena tewera bannange enewera katulabe tuli kati mu September, October, November, December, January eringa 5 ena. N'ekyo tutambula bulungi nga kakiiko, tuli betegefu bulungi ebintu bitambula. Era tusaba ebibiina by'obufuzi n'abo bonna abalina kakwate mu kulonda kuno, namwe mutambuze emirimu gyammwe, naddala ebibiina by'obufuzi mukwasa abantu bamwe bendera, mumalize endooliito eziri mu bibiina byammwe ngezikwata ku bendera. Ani anaakwata bendera omutuufu yaani? Nga tumaliza tugamba twagala okukunga Abannayuganda bonna, naddala bonna beesimbyewo, abawagizi baabwe n'abantu bonna bali mu ggwanga muno, nti tugondera amateeka, tukuume emirembe n'obutebenkevu, tetukkirize kintu kyonna naddala okulonda okutaataganya emirembe gye tulina n'obutebenkevu buli mu ggwanga. Abantu baffe basobole okutambuza emirimu gyabwe egibayimirizaako, naffe gituyimirizaako mu mirembe n'obutebenkevu. Mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala.
Thank you very much, Chairperson of the Electoral Commission. We will now take...
Mjagala kwogera ku kintu kimu. I want to talk about one thing. You know, this disease of monetization of our politics, especially during elections, it has become a terrible vice, terrible cancer. Once you have been nominated, first of all, it's an offense under the electoral laws to use money to influence voters, either to vote for you or to vote for another person or not to vote for the other person. It's an offense. Kimenya mateeka ogulirira abalonzi ng'okozesa ssente oba ebirabo byonna oba omenya mateeka. Bw'oba ng'omaze okusunsulwamu, yadde tonakola campaigns, yadde tonatandika kola campaigns, tekikkirizibwa bw'ofuuka candidate, tokkirizibwa okozesa ssente kubanga obogulirira abalonzi tokkirizibwa ogenda n'ozimba nayikondo mu kyalo kyewamwe banange munzijukire ndi wano nze mbakoledde nayikondo. That's bribery. Tokkirizibwa okuwaayo amabaati ku kanisa oba kereziya oba muzigiti ng'oli candidate. Tokkirizibwa okola oluguudo ng'oli candidate. Ebinyo obadde bikuba bantu bo obwedde obaddewo leka bibakube empaka okulonda kuwedde. Kubanga you are bribing voters. You are influencing voters in that area. Naye kye tukubiriza abo bonna byesimbyewo abo bonna basunsuddwa n'abagenda kusunsulwa ebyokozesa ssente mu bikomi. Because our opponents your opponents are observing how you are conducting your campaigns using money. If you win and you adduce this evidence to challenge your victory before the courts of law, your victory will be cancelled and it will be wasted exercise. And secondly, the law says the person who has bribed or committed any electoral offense can be prosecuted. And we have been in discussions with the Uganda Police Force, CID and everybody. We are saying banang bono bulwadde buli mu kulonda tulina obukwata ku mutwe, tulina obumiga ku mutwe, ogulira abalonzi, okoza olulimi olukyamu, okuleeta kacyankalano, okutabangula emirembe. Abantu abo bonna tufungane nabo nga tubatwala mu mbuga z'amateeka batwalibwe mu kooti. Kwange eggwanga tisobola kubeera ku bunkenke bantu ne beeraliikirira antu ne batya anti munange okulonda kutuuse mu Uganda. N'abo beesimbawo tubagamba amateeka tegakukkiriza okugenda n'oluserengete lwa motoka mu kifo ky'ogenda kusunsulwamu ba nomination. N'ogenda na boda 100 n'ogenda n'olusengete amateeka gagamba bw'oba ogenda wali ku kifo ogenda kusunsulwamu okkirizibwa motoka 2 ate nga ziriko stika za poliisi ate nga buli motoka nga temuli abantu abasukka mu 10. Buli motoka erimu bantu oba 10 beebo, si luserengete lwa motoka. Era ba poliisi mugenda kufufugana nabo nga bakuyimiriza. Era juzi waliwo yabagambye nti yabakubidde n'essimu ndi wali mu luserengete ngenda kuwandiisibwa oba mwagala kunkwata mujje munkwate. Omanye bara banyumirwa nnyo okukwatibwa kye kibakolera. Poliisi bajja ne bakwasa maanyi ekyo kibakolera bagamba nti kibawa obululu. Bannange kitegeeza tolina pulaani yonna weesigamye ku poliisi engeri gye neekukwatamu olwoka ofuna obululu. Naye kye tukubiriza nti mugondera amateeka. Ekyokusatu abantu batubuuza naye kakati campaigns kitegeeza nti bana ba local government engeri gye bamaze banaamala kusunsulwamu batandike campaign. Ebiseera buli kintu twabagamba nti twateekako program oba ebiseera ebintu birina okutambulira. Campaigns za local government wadde musunsulwamu kati oba mpaka 24 naye campaigns zammwe zijja kutandika omwezi gwe 11 mugumiikirize. Kati mwizo lwaki kati lwaki mwabawandiisizanga bukyali. Twabawandiisiza bukyali bangi nnyo kyovola kusunsulamu kwabwe kumbe kugenda kutwala wiiki 3. Ekyokubiri okusunsulamu bwe kugwa waliwo abeemulugunya nanze banganyi oba gunti yandibadde awandiikibwa beera nominated talina bisaanyizo oba tiyalina abawagizi. Kati ogenda okujongolola ebintu ebyo byonna gundi okwemulugunya biki byonna ne tugamba nti katubakoleko nga bukyali kubanga bubangi nnyo. Era bwe twogerera kati already olunaku lwajjo twakafuna okwemulugunya okuva abantu 15 mu exercise abadde wiiki ewedde. Naye kikyovara batutaddeyo ne tugamba nti okusunsulamu kwabwe tukutandike nga bukyali. Naye campaigns local government ennaku 10 mwezi gwa 11 ate ba parliament nabo nnaku 10 mwezi gwa 11 yadde bagenda okubeera nominated mwezi gwa Oktoba omwezi gwe 10. Presidential candidates bo lokwanti bwa presidential balina kutambula eggwanga lyonna utalaka eggwanga lyonna nga banoonya kalulu kyobola bo campaign zaabwe zijja kutandika nga bukyaliko mu mwezi guno nga ndowooza nga ogugwawo naye ate nga tebanagenda mu campaign balina kusooka batuule bakanye engeri gye bagenda kubamu rallies ani agenda kubeera mu district lunaku ki baleke okwobagana mukitegeera. Nekyo we are appealing to every candidate, please avoid using money, bribing voters. Secondly, obey the guidelines by the commission. Thirdly, maintain law and order. Guard jealously the peace and stability we have in our country. Mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala.
Thank you very much, Chairperson of the Commission. We'll take questions. You say your name, the media house you work for, and straight to the point you ask the question. Please come here.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Busen Samuel from the Daily Monitor. I have two questions. One, you talked about candidates bribing voters, but we are seeing some political parties making their fundraising. By law, is it allowed? Secondly, update us on the National Voters Register. Thank you.
Now, Lord Chair, thank you so much first for the update. The question is, you've talked about donations and all that, but the people out there, I mean the voters, are the ones inviting the candidates for various occasions, church and whatever. But again, you've said they are not supposed to give in. What advice do you give to these people who extend invites to these people?
My name is Ivan Kahwa. I work for UBC TV. I have 3 questions. The first one is, I want to know the role of the Electoral Commission in managing and disbursing political parties and organizations' funds, and how you ability. Number 2, we have seen some opposition parties that boycotted the iPod. Does that mean they automatically lose access to these funds? And I request if you could answer it in the aspect that we have a multi-party democratic system. Then lastly, you've mentioned about 202 presidential aspirants. Can you paint to us a picture if in any case we had successful candidates that are over 20?
Lord Chair.
Yeah, Lord Chair, my name is Hashim Simbus. I work with leetera abantu abamu obutafuna mukisa gusunsulwa. Wanabaawo olunaku lwonna olunaateerebwawo eri abantu abataafuna mukisa gusunsulibwa olwa system okuba nti yakyankalanamu nereeta okusunsula okutandika ekikeerezi.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm Jude, Radio 1 and Radio 2 Akabos Kubiri. Chairman, we've seen aspirants who go to the polling stations for registration or nominations. And I know the stipulated time for opening is 9 a.m. However, we see most of them come before as early as 6 a.m. And then there is crowded situation, and later they claim that you are not doing your work as supposed to be, what advice do you have to such aspirants? 2, you've given us then the time or the period for campaigns, local government, members of parliament, and others, apart from the presidential aspirant or candidates. And we see most of the complaint of the little time given to them, and claim that it's a way of the EC to fail them from going to the electorate to canvass for support. What is your reaction about this, sir? I thank you.
Yes, Chairman. Mulangira Dembe Yona, I report with a reporter news. Mu kuwandiisa naddala wano mu Kampala wabaddewo National Unity Platform gyesinza okuva nga bagamba candidate wabwe gwe wabadde flag temwamunominatinze ate ne munominating atagirina. Issue yavuddeyo. Ekyokubiri, ebyuma byatandise okufa, system yatandise okufa wano mu nomination. Naye mwagamba tugenda kukozesa biometric. Abantu bagamba olaba system etandise kufa wano okulonda tekunnabaawo. Ate tunatuka ku lunaku luli. So twagala mutangazeemu engeri ensonga gye mugenda okwongera ozikwatamu n'akakuuma kamaka ka biometric ng'egye kagenda okukolamu. Mwebale nnyo.
Thank you, Chairperson. It is important that we address the issue of trust. My name is Mark Mujuni, PML Daily. Ugandans have lost trust in the organs that run government, police, electoral commission, etc. What trust, what promise and what pledge do you give Ugandans that you will stand your ground to reflect justice and the true hearts of Ugandans?
I will start with the last question. When you talk of Ugandans losing trust in organs of government, police, EC, etc., and when at times when I have time and I'm watching the news on TV in a particular area, I always hear people tuyambe wanu mulabe nti ebyokwerinda byongezebwamu. I don't know whether that is a reflection of loss. I want to say this. Obviously you have, first of all, I don't know on what basis you premised your assertion that Ugandans have lost trust in the organs of government, whereas the evidence we see is contrary to that assertion. Granted, in any human, you always have people who are not contented. Even in homes, those who are not contented is content marriages. So that's the whole issue. The whole aspect makes a home or a nation is lost. So in my view, I don't subscribe to the notion that Ugandans have lost trust in the organs of government, whereas day in, day out, we see them seeking those government organs for service delivery. Even as a commission, you have seen the enthusiasm with which Ugandans have come to pick the nomination papers for presidential elections. It's unprecedented. We have never had such numbers coming up. Is that a sign that they don't believe in the process? I don't think so. Now, on some of the systems collapsing, well, I've not heard whether that is really a widespread problem. Could have been isolated in one or two, but you are dealing with machines. You are dealing with machines. So anything can happen. But that does not indicate that the commission was not adequately prepared, or that the commission will fail or is bound to fail in any other activities where it is going to apply or deploy technology. It doesn't mean that. If there were challenges with a particular system at a particular nomination venue, I think that was dealt with on a case-by-case basis, but is not a reflection of a general failure of the system or the equipment or IT equipment we applied or deployed to conduct the nominations. Sikiriganyiza ne endowooza nti ebitongole bya nti kakiiko k'ebyokulonda nedda sikiriziganyiza nakyo. Lwekyo nze obujulizi bwendaba bulaga nti bannayuganda bakkiririza mu bitongole bya gavumenti, era buli kaseera bagamba nti mujje mulongoose wanu, mujje mukole wanu, mujje mukole ki. Ebyuma ebirabise nti bifunyeemu tekitegeeza nti kakiiko titwetegese bulungi, ate ne tekinologi tugenda kweyambisa mu kulonda kwennyini nti naye ajja kuba nga tatuwa kiki kye twetaaga oba kye tuluubira oba kye tusuubira okufuna. Now, Mr. Mulangira, I didn't get the question that we nominated the flag bearer for NUP, then we nominated another candidate. You see, under the current legal framework, if you belong to party X, you contested in your party primaries, you lost out, as you have seen, many of them, and you feel you are aggrieved. May I have my supporters? The party has denied me the independent candidate. We have seen that. The law permits. So if members from the same party, one gets the flag, the other one decides to come as provided or she has the requirements, provided she or he has the requirements. But if there is any in the nomination of candidates for any particular party, again you follow the lodge a complaint to the commission so that the matter will be examined within the framework of the law and action will be taken or the matter will be rectified. Now, on the time given for campaigns, on the contrary, I have heard that some candidates get concerned when the campaign period is so long. Wherever candidate abemulugunya nti bana ekiseera bibeera biwanvu bya campaign tugwamu. Nekyokubiri nga bwe tugambye nti campaigns za local government elections na parliamentary suubira okutandika mwezi gwe 10. All remember constituency go saza constituency over division y'ekibuga yetaaga emyezi 3 okola campaign mu constituency nobwebeera district omwezi gumu okuva ennaku 10 November okutuuka ennaku 10 December ogwo mwezi gumu, okutuuka ennaku 10 oba 9 February January emyezi 2 eba tekumala okwetooloola omuluka oba egombolola oba division oba district efe mu ndowooza yaffe ebyo ebiseera bimalulungi abalina olugendo luwanvu biba presidential candidates kubanga bo bambi babasobola balina okutalaaka mu districts 146 z'eggwanga kyobola nti bo ebiseera bya campaigns biwanvuko. Their period for campaigns for presidential candidates is a little longer because of the bigger area they have to cover in the whole country. Those who are coming so early to the nomination venue at 6, this shows you, one, the seriousness with which people are taking this exercise. They don't want to take chances. Someone says they better go early munange, I don't want to miss it. Let me be there early. They will open when I'm there. And secondly, it shows that the people have confidence in what is going on. Taking the exercise very seriously, and that's why they report early. So I cannot tell them don't report early. If you have the time to come early, you come early. It's up to you. Mubende system. Now I want to say this: if a system has developed issues and therefore the returning officer is unable to conclude the nomination exercise within the designated period or days, and yet there are those candidates who reported in time, they have all the requirements, the returning officer can proceed to extend the nomination the following day after consulting the commission. After consulting the commission, because you don't want anybody to be disenfranchised or to be denied the opportunity to get nominated on account of a reason or of not of his own making, of no fault of his or her. We don't want that. So please, if there are any such people, I'm sure returning officers will address the challenge as and when it comes. Daily Monitor. Candidates bribing voters. But some political parties are doing fundraising. Is it allowed? Fundraising for purposes of managing the activities by a political party in an election is permitted. For instance, they need fuel to run around campaigns. They need to facilitate their agents. Maybe they will send some campaign managers or agents in some areas. So definitely an election requires resources, either on the part of government, of the electoral commission, or the candidates or political parties. But the funds that are allowed or permitted are those which will enable you to conduct campaigns, state your agents, but not to give voters money to influence their choice. That's not what is allowed. That's what is not permitted or allowed under the law. You can raise money as a political party for purposes of mobilizing your agents or not crime. The National Voters Register is best institutions. During an election, they should desist from inviting potential aspirants or candidates from coming to their churches or mosques or communities to fundraise or give donations, because in law that will be construed as if trying to influence voters in that area or in that church or mosque to vote for that candidate. 4 months is not a long period. Why don't you hold on your fundraising activities until we are done with the electoral processes and polling? Then you can resume your fundraising. If the church has not been built or the mosque has not been built in the last 5 or 10 years, 4 months will not make much damage. But what we need to avoid, fellow Ugandans, is to create a platform enticing or compelling these aspirants or candidates into giving money into processes and activities that will be construed or interpreted as voters. Let us avoid that. Let us avoid that. The good and sanctity of elections. The role of the Electoral Commission, dispensing monies to political parties, we do that in accordance with the law. It's the law which defines for us how that money that comes from the government coffers to fund political parties is supposed to be distributed or apportioned. We follow the law. Now recently, as you know, there was an amendment in the law with regard to financing, that political parties represented in parliament who are members of IPOD are the ones who are supposed to get funds, these funds. Previously, it was that any party represented in parliament is entitled to funding, the amount depending on your numerical strength in the parliament. But since the law has recently been amended, and to say or to state that only those parties which subscribe to IPOD membership should get funding. So as a commission, we are going to follow the law in dispersing these funds. That is all. I think because of your nambizemu ballot paper eneberanga katabukanu oba eneberanga bukedde oba etopu oba rumuri fwenga kakiiko ovuna wekulaba nti aba bonna abeewaddeyo bwaffe bwekinaba tukiriza oze 20 oba 3 oba bameka bwaffe kwe kulaba nti oli atuukiriza ebisaanyizo agenda ku ballot paper ngere gye neerabika obanga kiki tunaabirabira eyo. Mwebale nnyo, mwebalire, Mukama akuume. Hey.